Hello, this is Todd Luck, and this is a video about the end of Google+. This video will talk about what Google+ was, how it ended, and what happens when you try to open the app or website now. So Google+ ended on Tuesday, April 2nd. That was its final day. And so Google+ was a Facebook-like social media platform by Google, and I want to note that it is ended, and I can no longer access any posts on there. So what you're seeing is basically just posts that I captured on April 1st, some of the final farewell posts. So I'm not really able to illustrate what I'm talking about in this section when I'm talking about what Google+ was. The difference between Google+ and Facebook, Facebook had rules where you were only supposed to friend people you knew in real life, people you went to school with or were related to or worked with or whatever. And I found that I tended not to have a lot in common with those people. Just because I've been in the same room as you does not necessarily mean that I necessarily share the same interests. So it was really nice to just be able to just find people that you may have the same hobbies or same interests with and just connect with them on Google+. I also felt Google+'s news feed worked better than Facebook's because the algorithm on Facebook oftentimes prevents me from seeing posts from friends I would like to see their post, but then floods my feed with things that, I clicked on one time out of curiosity. So Google+, I felt, pretty confident I was seeing what people were posting, but of course I didn't have that much friends or things that I had followed or been a part of on Google+, so I'm sure you could probably completely overwhelm your news feed there as well, just like any other social media platform. Google+ did have some issues though. For instance, every private post would end up giving you a notification, which would flood me with notifications and make it very difficult to find like actual important notifications that I wanted to find. Oftentimes I would just drop people who insisted on posting everything privately just to not deal with that. But I think that's pretty common on social media. I think notifications are probably the biggest issue I have on any social media platform. So that was not unique to Google+. Some things that were unique to Google+ as far as issues go were on communities, the spam filter. I really wish I had some shots to illustrate this, but the spam filter was terrible. Once in a blue moon, you might get spam, but what you would get quite frequently, 95% of the time, would be the spam filter would capture posts from legitimate members, very clearly appropriate for the group, but you have to go in there every few days and get them out of there. It was just freaking annoying. Google+ also made it too easy to post to communities, and so what a lot of people would do is instead of actually going on the community and seeing what that community was like and what was already posted there, they would just select that community as a category and just drop their post in there without ever actually knowing what the community was even like. And while I did appreciate every single bit of participation I got on my Google+ Power Rangers community, it definitely wasn't the same thing if you not been on that community and you were just, dropping your posts in there. And a lot of people would just, send their posts to multiple communities. They just never went on. And of course, spammers did that a lot. They might pick dozens or even 100 communities and just shove their post out to all of them at one time. On Facebook, it was much more difficult to post to a page or a group, so I would give Facebook a little bit of an edge to that. You had to be much more intentional about it, though both Google+ and Facebook have the issue where, your posts in that group will show up in people's news feeds and kind of confuse people about, is that a group? Is that a post from you? Is that a post to a group? I've always just found it very confusing the way these sites do it. But of course, Google Plus's biggest problem had nothing to do with Google itself. It was just the fact that we didn't use it. Immediately when I went on there 5 years ago and started using it, I knew that it probably wouldn't last long. I couldn't find hardly anyone in my state using it. There were hardly any celebrities or major organizations or companies using it. So, I mean, it was pretty obvious that even though there was plenty of people to talk to, plenty of groups to be a part of that were active, that it just wasn't enough to really make it worth continuing as a social media platform. And eventually that, yeah, someone was going to shut it down. In my previous videos, I kind of assumed that the ending was going to be similar to like Miitomo or Miiverse, where it was kind of celebratory and there were a lot of people posting things. They would draw things and create posts to celebrate it. Google Plus ended more with a whimper, and I think that was because Miiverse and Miitomo were unique services. You couldn't really replicate it or get those anyplace else, and they really inspired creativity and facilitated that. And with Google Plus, it's just a social media platform, and it's very similar to other social media platforms, and everyone who was on it was probably doing the exact same thing someplace else, or a lot of them had just moved on already to other places with very similar functions. And so it just really wasn't, as big when it ended. Obviously, I'm showing you some farewell posts, but most people had just moved on. And a lot of the farewell posts were just, somebody who hadn't been on there in years coming back and, doing one last post. Or there was a guy who actually just sent a single post to 100 groups and didn't allow comments. So you got stuff like that. So as to how it ended, this is what I found when I logged on in the afternoon on April 2nd. So there was only my post left that was recent, and then there was just a handful of random posts left on the entire group. And so most everything had been deleted. By that evening, if I could somehow get access to my group, this was it. This was the only thing left, no posts. I couldn't find any post anywhere left that evening. And more likely, you're going to get either this image if you're using the app, or most likely you're just going to get this message regardless of where you're logging in at. And so Google Plus is gone. There could be some posts left somewhere, but I haven't been able to find them. As far as I can tell, everything I've ever posted on there is gone. We didn't use it enough, and that's why it's gone, and I count myself in that. Most of my interactions in the last 4 years on there have been solely with my Power Rangers group that I moderated, and so I didn't use it enough either. And when you don't use stuff enough, it goes away. But endings are very normal. Change is a part of life. It's human nature to change and to grow and to get better as life goes on. So I hope that's what everyone does, and there's no reason that you can't keep in contact with people that you knew on Google+. I personally am still on Google Hangouts, Facebook, and YouTube, so if you want to, hit me up on any of those. And I did download my data before the end, and MeWe has said that you can upload your data and have it work on there from Google+, and I did that, and I'm going to devote my next video to that just to show you guys what that's like. And spoiler alert, it's not all it's cracked up to be, but again, I'll deal with that next time. That's all I've got to say about the end of Google+. Like and subscribe for more videos, and until next time, you're not alone out there, kids. See ya.